Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 43 of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode, guys, where today we are at my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix, guys. Not too sure how well this Toro Rosso will fare. Obviously it's a very high speed orientated track here today, and obviously the Toro Rosso with the outdated power unit really does struggle at the top end of the speed, just to keep the acceleration, over sort of 180 miles an hour. But obviously I have to wait and see how we do today. Last time out we had a bit of an annoying day. We just missed out on the points there, guys. I usually like to aim for points in this crim, and usually, sort of in the low end of the top 10. But unfortunately last time out we were in 11th place though, guys. A bit unfortunate, as I said. But still, hoping that this Grand Prix can be a bit better for us. Anyway, Chris has got an upgrade for me now on the car. We're going to probably have a look at that for about 2 seconds worth. But that is an engine upgrade there, guys. An extra 8 horsepower, which, will help us at this, obviously, this power completely orientated track. But still, now just having a look at the R&D, as we can see, Sahara Force India and Red Bull have also brought upgrades to their car, ready for this weekend. But we currently sit up, I think that is P7 overall at the moment, guys. We're just a little bit off McLaren, Force India and Williams, and then Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes obviously have that little bit, as I keep saying, the stronghold at the top here, guys. But moving on then into free practice, we can see doing our track acclimatization laps straight away. Obviously, it's something I really don't struggle with anymore. Once you get used to the cars in this game, it usually takes, say, a season or 2 seasons, so you pretty much know the tracks by then. Obviously, they're usually a little bit different to the racing line you want to use, but we got purple there. And then moving on straight away into qualifying here, guys. It was actually a very wet qualifying session here today, and that meant one thing: it was going to be unpredictable. Now, whether it be unpredictable in my favour or not, obviously we'll have to wait and see, guys. But hoping, as we move into the end of Q1, hoping we can safely make it through. Obviously, we did actually try. There was a lot of weather changing in this session. Like, I was looking at the tyres, and the distance between the times were just fluctuating so much. Sort of every couple of minutes, it was near impossible to actually time it very well. But as we can see, coming to the end of the session here, we're actually in the added time. We managed to get across the line before the timer counted down to 0. But we're currently down in P18, guys. But we're miles up on my Delta, so hopefully, whilst we come through Blanchemont, that we don't knob it up going into these final few corners. Really want to just keep it clean, keep it consistent, make sure we get a nice smooth break in, get close to the apexes on both corners here, guys, and coming up towards the line then, hopefully, we should be able to safely make it into Q2 here. We're still miles up on my Delta there, so we haven't bottled it right at the very end. And we move up into P8 there in Q1 there, guys, so very, very happy with that result, Got it safely into Q2 there. Spa, obviously, where it is so unpredictable, can really try and cause some havoc for drivers, just want to try and make it safely through. Sebastian Vettel was the pace setter there in Q1. Ferrari looking very, very strong around this circuit. They've looked very, very strong after the last few Grand Prix. Obviously, unfortunately for them, we saw Mercedes get a double podium last time out, but the Ferraris are looking very, very much like title challengers at this point. It's just Lewis Hamilton has built up such a lead overall in the standings. We can see Sebastian Vettel followed by Lewis Hamilton, then Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo up in P4, Nico Rosberg 5th, Verstappen 6th, Fernando Alonso best of the rest there with myself in 8th, Jenson Button in 9th, Felipe Massa in 10th, Sergio Perez in 11th, Romain Grosjean on 12th. My teammate Daniel Kvyat did just about scrape it through into Q2 there, as you can see, down in 16th place. No real big surprises there, not making it into Q2, but we did see Felipe Nasr actually make it though, which is a little bit, interesting, considering Marcus Ericsson failed to do so here. But now moving on into my Q2 lap here, as you can see, guys, Q2 was a lot more consistent. You could just pretty much go out and set a lap at any given point, and that should have been, obviously, if it's a good enough lap, it's not like a really risky time to go out. As we can see there, we move up into P3 there, guys, and that barely scraped us through into Q3 there, guys. I thought that would be a lot safer than we actually were, but we just nudged out both Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa there. 2 big names, obviously, from the Williams team falling by the wayside there, guys, as Jenson Button made it into Q3 there, and I think Fernando Alonso has done as well. So very, very good for those guys. But now moving on into Q3 here, guys, this is where it all makes the difference. Hoping, we can get a good session out here, get one good lap in. I was hoping, I timed this lap to the weather, obviously, to absolute perfection here. But coming down then into La Source, obviously, you're going to try and make sure we get a nice clean break, slow in, fast out. That's always the method I use on this game. I usually brake before the predicted line here. But obviously, coming out the corner there, we get very, very good traction, obviously. And coming down towards the infamous Eau Rouge, obviously, we will have to lift through here. I decided to keep it up in 8th gear, though. Drop down to 174 miles an hour. Get an absolutely huge wobble as we go over the crest there of Radion, guys. But coming now down towards the Kemmel Straight, pushing up closer and closer to 210 miles an hour. This is really where the Toro Rosso struggles, but now breaking down into third gear next for the next chicane. Obviously just want to keep it nice and tidy, try and use the curves, but not try to completely batter them. As we come to the next corner though, try and avoid, running too wide on the exit there, and now just trying to pinpoint the braking zone into the very horrible hairpin. Got to try and keep it nicely close to the curb, but try and maintain as much speed as you can, and just making sure you absolutely use the exit as well. Use the exit curve and the entrance curves into the unnamed corner, but now moving on towards P1 here. Obviously you're going to try and maximise your straight line speed down into this corner. Make sure you hit the apex though on the inside, get the turn in quite well. Unfortunately we run a little bit wide there, use a bit too much curb on the outside there, guys, but coming now down in towards the second chicane. Obviously the two right hand corners here, braking once again nice and early, trying to get right up towards the curves. Unfortunately we don't get the turn in there once again, but on the second part of the chicane, yes we do, we get the curves on the inside. Run hugely wide on the exit there, goes guys, just trying to absolutely push the car to the absolute limit here. But coming down in towards sector 3 here, as you can see we're just outside Sebastian Vettel on the delta here, guys. So if we absolutely nail this final sector, maybe we can edge ahead of Sebastian Vettel here, get an absolutely tail out on the exit of that corner. But coming up towards Blanchimont, obviously guys, just got to be as brave as we possibly can, just backing out the throttle there to 190 miles an hour, guys. Get a little bit of wobble on the exit. We're trying to pinpoint the braking zone into the final chicane. Obviously just making sure we get both curbs there nice and tidily, make sure we get good traction at the final corner and up towards the line. What position are we going to move up to in this Q3 shootout? And we go into pole position there, guys, and that is pole for the Belgian Grand Prix here, guys. Obviously in the box seat for the race, we just edged out Sebastian Vettel and his teammate of Kimi Räikkönen there. A very, very strong qualifying for myself there in the end. Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg making up 4th and 5th, with the Red Bulls of Ricciardo and Verstappen 6th and 7th, Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button 8th and 9th, and Nico Hülkenberg there getting up into P10. But pole position, guys, for the Belgian Grand Prix, obviously in the best seat in the house, obviously. As I said at the start of the session, unpredictability is always what you expect at Spa, and we have taken pole in this Toro Rosso in just our 3rd ever race for the team, guys. But let's move on then into the Belgian Grand Prix.
Races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. And you know what? It usually does. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes Forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. Anthony Davidson is alongside me in the commentary box to take you through all the action today. Now it's a closely matched field here in Spa, Ant. So where do you think we're going to see somebody make a difference?
If they're as close as we're expecting them to be, especially through the midfield, then being able to keep the front tyres in good condition could make the difference. You always lose a chunk of downforce at the front when you're in the turbulent air of another car, which tends to cause understeer, which in turn causes front tyre degradation. Now, too much damage there could force an early pit stop and put you at a slight disadvantage, so the drivers will want to be careful not to be too aggressive early on in the Grand Prix.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. Trying to cover the inside line off the start.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It's Toro Rosso in pole position then, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Räikkönen, Hamilton, Nico Rosberg and Ricciardo, Verstappen, Alonso, Button and Nico Hülkenberg, Bottas, Massa, Sergio Perez and Grosjean, Nasser, Kvyat, Esteban Gutierrez and Marcus Ericsson, Haryanto and Wehrlein, Kevin Magnussen and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are then, guys, on the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. Obviously, we're in the best seat of the house currently in P1 on the grid, ready, for the next enthralling 11 laps. Obviously, the most crucial point of the race will probably be trying to defend up the Kemmel Straight on lap 1, obviously, where we'll have the whole pack right bunched up between us. Hopefully, we get a good start, obviously, until Rosso. Obviously, the field will be very, very bunched up. But obviously, it should be a fairly easy one-stop race here. The super softs don't really go that far in this Grand Prix, though, which is kind of what I'm worrying about at the moment. The softs and the mediums can go very, very far in, though. But obviously, it's just about trying to maximise the time, because obviously, if you miss your pit strategy by just one lap, it can prove absolutely devastating here. But Toro Rosso, obviously, will be very, very focused on this car today, trying to make sure it's as good as it can possibly be, ready for the race. It's looking, I think, like there's going to be no weather effect in this Grand Prix like we saw in qualifying there, guys. So hopefully, it can be a smooth race for myself. You want to, try and hopefully, if we can, lead from the front, but it definitely won't be an easy feat. Obviously, in this Toro Rosso, so little straight line speed against cars such as the Ferraris and the Mercedes and the Red Bulls, all right up behind us here, guys. But let's have a look then on the pit strategy. It should be a one-stop race here today, guys. I think what we will probably up to is, but I'm guessing the game will predict us to go from a set of the super soft to a set of the soft tyres, and yes, there we are. But I'm probably going to switch that around, go on to a set of the softs for the start, hoping, we can stay with the front runners if we do end up losing track position there. But that's what we're going to opt for, guys. We're also going to make sure we pit. I'm kind of thinking, pit in the middle of the road, pretty much when the AI do, because you should be able to pit pretty much split in the middle of the race. But obviously, we are all on fresh tyres, ready for this Grand Prix here. But on the grid then, ready to start for the formation lap. Obviously, we'll skip through all that. Ain't nobody got time for that in this career mode. But here we are then, guys, on the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix there, guys. The absolute longest hold I have ever witnessed. But in the end there, we actually get off to a very, very good start there, guys. Into La Source, into turn 1, just making sure, we get all the entrance curve, make sure we hold the lead on the exit, guys, and that is the most difficult part of this race we will have to do so far, obviously. We've still got Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, there's yellow flags out behind us, not too sure what's happened there, there's been a spinner near the back, but making sure, we hold on to the lead up Eau Rouge. Obviously, we'll have Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen coming right at me, so I'm going to go very, very defensive, ready to go down the Kemmel Straight. Kimi Raikkonen now is looking past his teammate of Sebastian Vettel, but we move back onto the racing line, into the corner there, guys, and we managed to hold on to the lead so far of the Belgian Grand Prix. Another set of yellow flags out there, guys. There's just a few more cars having a bit of a scramble near the back. But Sebastian Vettel still right on my gearbox here, obviously. Those guys can't afford to lose any time as I run a little bit wide through the hairpin there, guys. Somehow still managed to hold on to the lead. Sebastian Vettel having a look around my outside there. Is he going to be able to make the position stick? He takes a lot of exit curve there, guys, and no, he does not. We're going to have the inside into Poo on here, so we should be able to hold on to the lead. He once again has a look around my outside, but we squeeze him out on the exit there, guys. And we hold on to the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix here. So far, been a very, very exciting first opening lap here. Obviously, we've still got the Ferraris right behind us. And I'm guessing we're basically just going to form a trolley train during the first stint of this Grand Prix here today, guys. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see so far as we run absolutely massively wide on the exit curve there. Make contact with Sebastian Vettel slightly there. Wheel-to-wheel action there. But luckily, we still somehow hold on to the lead of this Grand Prix as Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen really piling on the pressure. If they get a solid point scoring position here today, they can really close in on the Mercedes here. But obviously, just making sure, Kimi Raikkonen now has jumped Sebastian Vettel up into P2 now of the Grand Prix here. So Kimi Raikkonen now looking like he will be my big threat for the rest of this Grand Prix. But taking a lot of curb through the bus stop chicane there. But we managed to hold on to the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix through the entirety of lap 1. But moving on now to lap 2 on the Kemmel Straight here. Kimi Raikkonen not too close behind me actually. We actually managed to get a very, very good run up Eau Rouge as Kimi and Sebastian are still fighting just behind me. Obviously we set a purple first sector there, guys, as we are the first car to go through it. But running a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 5 there. And is Kimi Raikkonen going to be able to have a look round my outside just like Sebastian Vettel did in my F1 2010 career mode? It's looking like Kimi might get it there. We try and force him over the exit curbs, but he's going to have the inside into the next corner. We're going to try and go for a cutback there, guys. But that has definitely not worked out there. And Kimi Raikkonen now has moved up into the lead of the Grand Prix. And all I now have to do is try and hold on, try and stick as close as we can. But we can see almost instantly going through Poo on there how much extra grip, how much extra traction he has over myself there, guys. And he is basically just now just going to be able to romp away with this Grand Prix. But now moving on, Lewis Hamilton now is trying to have a look around the outside towards Blanchard. Is he going to be able to get this position? We're not going to back down. We force him a little bit wider. He makes contact with me. And Lewis Hamilton is facing the wall now, guys. No idea what's happened to him there. We'll have to have a look at the replay cameras. But the virtual safety car has been deployed there, guys. And let's just have a look what happened to Lewis Hamilton. So let's just have a look then, guys, from Lewis Hamilton's perspective. Obviously, he's got a good run up towards Blanchimont. Obviously, not a particularly common place to go around the outside. As you can see, he gets caught over the curb, just makes contact with my wheel. We just don't time it right and just squeeze him out just that bit too much. He tries to correct, obviously, from the slide, but there's no way he's going to be able to recover that at 190 miles an hour. Somehow doesn't get taken out by another car as we look from Daniel Ricciardo's point of view. Just inches away from him there, but Lewis Hamilton goes straight to the wall. Somehow he also remains in this Grand Prix. He only loses front wing there. That could have been an absolutely devastating crash, but now he just has to wait for the rest of the field to come through, obviously, with that virtual safety car. He won't lose out as much time as he ever thought he would, but still, moving on now to lap 5, Kimi Räikkönen has just been able to pull away, put a bit of a margin now, and coming to the end of lap 5, we're actually going to dive into the pit lane at the same time those guys do. We're going to go for 5 laps on a set of the super soft tyres here. We absolutely nail our pit entrance line there. I was actually quite surprised how well we managed to get there, guys, but still, obviously, now we're going to be on the quick set of the tyres, hoping Kimi Räikkönen can get held up by a few of the cars other pitting in, but he's not going to be able to do so, unfortunately for me. Hoping, we don't get held up either here. As you can see, we just about get out in front of the Mercedes. They're very, very crucial that we did that. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to close the gap to Kimi Räikkönen there. Sebastian Vettel looks like he will be my main threat as we come out the pit lane here. Is Sebastian going to be able to get the run on this? Yes, he does. He moves up into P2 of the Grand Prix. Ferrari will head up a 1-2. But if we can get good slipstream coming up the top of Eau Rouge along the Kemmel Straight, maybe we might be able to challenge him. Get a huge wobble up Eau Rouge there, guys. But here is the slipstream, 210 miles an hour before the DRS. Sebastian Vettel tries to go defensive on me, but that doesn't work out well for him there. And we move back up into P2 of the Grand Prix with a set of the quicker tyres in hand as well. So hoping, we can try and defend from Sebastian Vettel now with a bit more advantageous than we had earlier on in this Grand Prix. But now, as you can see, towards the end of lap 6 here, there's actually yellow flags up at Eau Rouge. Not too sure what's happened there, guys. But now we're just more worried about what Sebastian Vettel is going to do. He's actually going to move to the inside now towards Blanchimont there. Not really where I want to see him, but can we try and hold it around his outside? We're on a little bit wide through Blanchimont there, guys, but we're going to be able to hold it side by side with him. Moving into the bus stop chicane there, we break a little bit early. Sebastian Vettel tries holding it around my outside, nearly locks up there. We're going to try and go for the cutback towards La Source, obviously into the hairpin here, but you could just see how much quicker that 2016 Ferrari power unit is over my own. So Sebastian Vettel takes P2, but we're going to go for the dive bomb into turn 1 there, throw it at the inside there into the corner, and we move back up into P2, just squeeze him out on the exit there, guys, as him and Nico Rosberg now go side by side, hoping we can leave those two just to hassle with each other. But now moving on to lap 11, guys, there hasn't really been much else happen up to this point, but Sebastian Vettel now trying to hold it around the outside. He makes contact with my wheel there. Is he going to be able to hold on to the position? He absolutely parks it through the next part of the corner there, guys, but he's going to be able to move up into P2, unfortunately, of the Grand Prix. And now moving on towards the end of the lap here, Sebastian Vettel is just going to be absolutely able to pull away there. Ferrari going to be taking him a 1-2 unless something absolutely miraculous happens in these final few corners. But we're more worried now about Nico Rosberg and Max Verstappen both trying to hold it around the outside into Blanchimont. Can we try and hold it with Nico Rosberg? He gives us the room on the inside even though we weren't there, guys. But we're going to try and look around the outside. We switch back to the inside into the second to last corner, a bit like what we did to Rio Haryanto back at Britain, and we move back up into P3, and we've claimed a podium for Toro Rosso in our third ever outing for the team. But there we are then, guys, an absolutely incredible day out for myself. Obviously, unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to the win there, but obviously I wasn't expecting to hold on to the win, obviously, with how straight line speed orientated, as I keep saying, this track is. But Kimi Räikkönen takes a very well-earned win here at this Grand Prix. I'm pretty certain that's his second or maybe even his third win of the year after. Obviously, he took the win at Britain, so the King of Spa remains in his original position there. His 5th win, I'm pretty certain, at this Spa track. Obviously, an absolute incredible feat for himself. Sebastian Vettel, the second Ferrari, though, as I said, guys, manages to maintain a Ferrari 1-2, so they're going to massively catch up on Mercedes, and especially Lewis Hamilton, obviously, where he did not score points in that Grand Prix, but obviously we saw Scuderia 1-2-3 there. Mercedes of Nico Rosberg down in P4 there. Obviously he'll be a bit annoyed not to be able to capitalise more on his teammate. But Max Verstappen 5th, Daniel Ricciardo 6th, Sergio Perez 7th, Bottas 8th, Alonso in P9 there, Hulkenberg in 10th, Roman Grosjean and Rio Haryanto just missing out. Felipe Massa having a torrid day out down in P13. But there's my teammate Danny Kvyat down in P16. And Lewis Hamilton, unfortunately there, guys, in the end, finishes down in P19. All three other British drivers finished no higher than 18th. And me, in quite possibly the worst car out of the three, probably a little bit better than Jolyon Palmer's, actually managed to score points there, guys. But we move back up into P10 over on the standings, jumping back past Felipe Massa and Fernando Alonso after Felipe managed to jump back past us last time out at the German Grand Prix. Up into P9 over on the standings, right behind now Haas and Sauber. Should be able to jump those two teams very, very quickly in the next few rounds of the season, as Renault still has failed to score points in this first season. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this race today. Been an absolutely incredible one, probably, quite possibly the best one I think I've had so far of the season. But obviously just now having a look at the R&D points, you can see up to 366 points. Hopefully we might be able to get one more upgrade in before, obviously, what I'm probably going to do is cease the R&D when we get to Singapore, guys. But just having a look then at the rivalry update, and just having a look overall there, we are absolutely smashing Felipe Massa so far. And just we move obviously massively into the purple. Obviously we'd probably be at a score of about 16 by now if it just carried on going, guys. But hopefully, we can take over the #1 driver at Toro Rosso, ideally before the end of Season 1. Maybe, at the beginning of Season 2. Perhaps they'll give us an winter break promotion for all we know. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode, guys, as well as so much other more content that you do probably want to check out across this channel. But as I said, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.